Hello folks, welcome back to the Edupedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta, and we are continuing with the topic the winding up of the companies, right? And for this we are referring to the Companies Act 1956. So in the previous class we were talking about the petition for compulsory winding up, section 439, and we have also seen that there are 5 persons who are allowed to file the petition for winding up, which is the company, the creditors, the contributories, the registrar and the central government. And we have seen the various situations, various cases of when and how they are allowed to do so. In case of company, we have seen that yes, if there is a special resolution that the company passes, the company can file the petition of winding up. But for the case of creditors, the creditors have to be struggling for the debt. That means the company is not able to pay their debts. Then they can file the petition of winding up. And they would also include the prospective creditors, the contingent creditors, secured creditors, holder of debentures with or without trustees, or even the trustees who are managing those debentures, even they will be allowed to file the petition. Right? In the case of contributories, we have seen who are the types of contributories. Right? The basic funda behind contributories will be covered later in the chapter. But if we talk about when is a contributory allowed to file the petition of winding up, then the base rule is if at any point of time the total number of members fall below the statutory minimum, they are ready to do that. But in other situations also, right, there can be other grounds also, but for that it is compulsory that you are the original allottee of the share. If not, the shares have devolved upon you by death of the member. If not, then also you should be holding that share for at least 6 months in the previous 18 months. 18 months from back preceding the date of winding up, right? And if we talk about the rights of other contributories, like the rights of forfeited shareholders, so the people or the holders of forfeited share, even they have the right to file the petition of winding up if they have held that share for more than 6 months in the preceding 18 months, right? When we talk about legal representatives, we had a detailed concept discussion on this, that the legal representative would be allowed only in such situation if we don't have anyone else. Like for example, if the shareholder actually dies, he passes away, he cannot come and file a petition. Who will do it on his behalf? The legal representative. But that will not always be a legal representative. Like we had seen the example of a joint holder. So if in the case of joint holder any one holder passed away, then that authority to file the petition shifts to the other joint holder and not the legal representative. And unluckily, if due to some mishap the other joint holder also passes away, then it passes on to the legal representative of the holder for whom the petition is supposed to be filed. Right? Next you have the registrar, and there were 5 cases when the registrar could file the petition. 1. If there is a default in the statutory report and the statutory meeting. 2. If the company did not commence their business for 1 year or suspended it for 1 year. 3. If the number of members falls below the statutory minimum. 4. If the company is unable to pay their debt. And 5. On any just and equitable ground. Right? But they will not be able to do it on the first go. What they have to do is they'll have to follow a process. Right? They will want a previous approval from the central government. And for that the central government would approach the company, would give the company an opportunity to make their representation. They would consider the representation of the company and then consider whether or not to allow the registrar to file the petition, and if it allows, then the registrar goes to the court to file the petition. So registrar to the CG, CG to the company, company back to CG, CG back to registrar, and then registrar to the court. Right? And if there is a case of the company not being able to pay the debt, then the registrar has to be satisfied that yes, the company is not being able to pay the debt from its balance sheet, from its economic conditions, right, from the report of the special auditor or the investigator. Right? Then if we talk about the central government, then if the CLB comes to the central government that there is a condition of fraud, either the company is following some fraudulent business, or the company is prepared, the company is incorporated with some fraudulent intention, or the people in the management of the company are suspected or are guilty of fraud, misfeasance or misconduct, then what will the CG do? CG will appoint an investor. Please go investigate. And if the investor says that yes, the CLB was correct, then the central government would file the petition. Right? So this is all that we had seen in the previous lecture. Now we move on to discuss the questions in that. The first question that we have that has appeared 2 times already is who can file the petition for winding up. It is as simple as that. So you will have to write the name of those 5 persons. Right? Company, creditor, contributory, registrar and the central government. Nothing else. Your answer is over. Go on to explain them a bit if the question demands more content, and that demand would be indicated by the number of marks that have been allotted for that question. If it's a 4-mark question, just write the 5 names and then you just write one liner that yeah, company in the case of special resolution, creditor if the company is unable to pay the debt, contributor this is the situation, registrar this situation, CG this situation, and it's done. Right? You don't have to go and write and explain everything, but if it's a 6 marks question, your content in the answer would increase. So since you know the entire thing, now it is easier for you to decide as to what content you would like to include. Right? But whatever you do, please try that you include only the relevant content. Right? The next question that has been asked in CA Final November 1994 again is a question, like, well, let us discuss that question. It is not a one-liner. So as per the content, right, the company was ordered to be wound up on a petition which is filed by the company itself. Right? Even though the company's workers, they opposed the petition. They say no, we will not allow the company to wind up. We will be suffering because of that. Right? So what did the worker do? The workers, they went ahead to file an appeal against the winding up order. Right? So it is contended by the company that the workers have no right to appeal, as they have no right to file the winding up petition. Because you have seen who has the right to file the winding up petition: company, creditor, registrar, contributory and the CG. Did we name worker anywhere? No. So worker has no right to file the petition, and hence they say that since they don't have the right to file the petition, they don't have the right to oppose the petition as well. Right? Now you will have to state with reason whether the contention of the company is correct. So basically, what do you think would be the conclusion, would be the solution? Should they be allowed to appeal against the petition for winding up? Yes, they should be. Because the Companies Act, section 439, does not permit them to file the petition for winding up. But nowhere in the Companies Act are they prohibited from opposing that petition. So if it is not said, we would not assume it. Right? So how do you go ahead with writing your answer with that? So you'll say that yes, the right to file the petition for the winding up is given by section 439 to these 5 people, and it nowhere says that the worker will be allowed. Hence the worker will not be allowed to file the petition for winding up. Justified. The company said 2 things, one of it is justified. The second thing that the company says that because of this they will also not be allowed to oppose it. That will not be maintainable. Right? So you will write that there is nothing given in the Companies Act that straightforward opposes these workers from appealing against the petition. Right? So although they will not be heard at the court as parties to the proceeding, but they can be heard as the interveners. Right? And also, even if the winding up order is already made by the court, the workers are still allowed to oppose it. It is not only at the time of petition, but also at the time when the winding up order has already been made. The workers are always allowed to oppose it. So before actually ordering the winding up of the company, the court would take into consideration the interest of the shareholders, the interest of the creditors, right? But along with them, they will also consider the interest of the public, the employee, the workers, all of these. Right? So hence, you'll conclude that yes, workers will be allowed to oppose the petition as well as to oppose the order of winding up. And then you will say that it is not only the worker, anybody who wants to oppose has the right to be heard. Right? So every person whose interests are likely to be affected with this adverse or with this conclusion of the court, with this order of the court, may it be adversely affected or favorably affected, right? They are entitled to oppose or support a petition. That means if it is a case, it has to be fought equally. right? You will have to allow people to come and support the winding up. You will have to allow people to come and oppose the winding up. But now again, it is the discretion of the court whether or not it will hear the other interveners. It is the liability of the court. It is mandatory for the court to hear the petitions that are, or to hear the points that the parties bring up. But if you talk about the interveners, it is a discretion of the court. If it wants to hear, it will. If it does not want to hear, it will not. Therefore, the contention of the company that the workers have no right to appeal against the winding up order is not correct. Right? That is all. So these are the questions that have been asked in your examination. Although it's been around 20 years when these questions were asked, but since they have been asked, you know that yes, they can still be asked. That means there is scope of preparing question on these topics. Right? With those words, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Please stay tuned for the next lecture. Thank you. Bye-bye.